Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Inner Jenny's Corner. Welcome to Get Sense with a Jenny. I don't know why I can't see myself clearly. It's so foggy, but sorry, different computer, different location you can see. The devil was trying to try me, but he doesn't understand that God has already gone ahead of me to clear anything that he may have started. Boom. There you go, devil. All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not good night yet until you're done with the show. How are you all doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. It's a Thursday. I look so dark. My goodness. It's a Thursday. It's amazing. It's a wonderful day. So thank you so much. Before I say anything, like, subscribe, share. I'm off my game, y'all. Normally I have my board. My daughter has my spiel. I don't have it. Hey, deal with it. But honestly, go like, share, and comments. Be excited because the guest we have in the studio today, hey, Jesus, listen, we've been, I can't even count how long we've been friends for. She's amazing. She's inspirational. The way her life has transformed. She still looks like the girl I saw in school, and she's going to introduce herself to you. All right. We've grown. We're amazing. My beef with her is that she's still the same. I've grown like Jesus. Anyway, let me behave. She still looks the same. Better. Younger. What's the problem? Okay, sorry. All right. So thank you guys for coming. Of course, you can see the name of the show. You guys know I always bring quality. I'm always bringing what you're thinking about is what I'm bringing to you. And you guys see why we chose a topic. And you would see why we chose the topic. And we don't have too much time because she and I have like a time, right? But I want to thank you guys for coming in the studio today. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. I already see people in the audience, and I love you guys. I have to find a name for you guys. So I call you guys Sensors or Engineers or waiting. Hey, Jenny the Great. Thank you. Bwene, that's my baby brother from Nigeria. Always the first, him and Vivian. Fa is in school as we speak. I know she's not supposed to, but she is. And I love her for that. Thank you for supporting me all the time, and all those hiding in the bushes. Thanks for coming. It's our lunch time, so let's someone go catch us here. All right. Without further ado, I don't really like how this thing is showing me, you guys, but that's fine. Anne is bright. That's who we're focusing on. All right. I need to see hearts. I need to see love. I need to see pom-poms. I need to see. We just came from icing. I'm jealous. Let's see the pink pom-poms, guys. Let's see. Let me see a heart, one heart. Let me see something before I bring her to the studio. She's not an ordinary person. This girl, what's that? What's the pause sign, I beg? What is this? I bet that's not an emoji, I beg. All right. Thank you so much for that. Let me bring Doctor, not just me, I call her Chukus. Doctor, Dr. AnnMaureen Wabuzo. She's coming in the studio, We can be jovial, we can be serious. Hey, everybody's seeing you.
Hello, everyone.
You're live. Welcome to Get Sense Show. We've been on Instagram and we talk. Her conference was my first live. But was it my first? Maybe my second. No, speaker. Being a speaker was my first very one. So I thank you for the opportunity. Welcome to the studios. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me. We always have fun. It's home. This is home for me. And I just wanted to say, this is Thankful Thursday, Thriving Thursday. It doesn't matter what your studio looks like. We're here. And we're thankful. And I'm thankful to be here. And I'm thankful for everyone who is here, who tunes in every time into your show, Jenny, week after week, supporting, getting that sense. Yes. So thank you, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Thank you. Thank you. So you guys already know she's my homegirl. Sometimes I skip the doctor, sometimes I skip the Maureen, but she's still my personal person. So in their family, I call myself their last born. And
Your
that's how
brother
we've been.
six. Yes. That is
That's
so
how we've
true.
been. That's how we've been. I know her siblings, her mom, her dad. I know the cousins too, and everything else. So she's here, she's family. She's one of those people that um, you want to keep around you. You want to definitely be in your circle, for sure. She has her ways. She has her ways. I will say it. Listen, all right, let's be serious. All right, so welcome. So I would introduce you, but I want you to you have your way where you introduce yourself. So who's Anne? Sorry, I can't say what am I saying, Anne? Hey God, who is Dr. Anne Maureen? Tell us.
Well, Dr. AnnMaureen Wabuzor, like she said, I'm a learning and development consultant for children. And basically, what I do is I help children develop self esteem, self confidence, positive self confidence, resilience, so that they can navigate challenges. Challenges are sure to come for everybody. So they can navigate those challenges confidently and courageously. But most importantly, I want them to know who they are and who
Mm,
they can be. And I give them strategies and tools to create that blueprint. And I like to say I'm a navigator to help them
mm,
create their own compass so that they can create their own life. But most importantly, Jenny and the viewers who are watching, playing to their individual strengths and talents. So
mm,
embracing who they are, who they can be. And so that's what I do in a nutshell. So I do that through motivational speaking, life coaching, training educators, because of course they work with children. So all of that has to do with mindset
mm,
transformation. I do that
mm,
for the little ones.
mm, mm, mm. Okay, so I already have a whole page, and my hand is spinning. So did you guys get that? And thank you so much for that. I couldn't have introduced her. I don't want to start saying she's a mother, she's a wife. She is. She's all of those things. But I like what she just said. And we have to kind of peel. You can see why we picked that topic that we have. We have to peel the banana a little bit to go deep down on. See who else is there. Hey, Blue. How are you? How's school? You're supposed to call me. Anyway. All right. All right, so you guys see what she says she does, and it is so important because I wish I had that when I was little. Because I dealt with low self-esteem, I dealt with not being seen, and then a child gets comfortable with not being seen, especially when you're part of a large family. I was the only child, but I didn't feel like I was seen. My dad loved me and all that good stuff, but there's a difference between being seen. Yes, it's very being seen and being loved. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I love you, I gave birth to you, I love you, but do you see me? And that's part of he watched the show with Blue. He said kids are not furnitures. And a lot of kids were raised as furnitures. I've had you, we're good. Somehow you survive. So what I want to ask is in you doing this, how did you come to what made you be this? What made you choose this?
So first of all, I just want to emphasize what you said because that hit me when you said children become comfortable not being seen.
See,
Oh,
yes.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That hit
Yeah.
hard. That really hit hard. And there are a lot of children, those who I even work with, that feel that way. And I always like to say children need to be seen, heard, and validated. But
Ooh.
going back to your question, how did I come about this? So I always say this story started 1986 in Warri, Nigeria. 6-year-old girl who wanted to be an electrical engineer went down that path. That was not her passion. And as a result, masked a lot of pain, a lot of hurt because she was doing something that was not her passion. She thought that was what society viewed as success. And so she went
Mm,
down that path. And in that process, went through lots of tutorials, like all of us went through lesson, but she was always the one always asking questions because I didn't understand. And that 6-year-old girl is me. And I was always wondering, why is it that all these things come so easily to my my siblings. And then for me, I have to constantly keep on asking, am I not smart enough or what? Well, I did all of that and kept on going and carried on that mask into high school, into college, came to United States, had an unfortunate experience with an educator who told me when I was in engineering that I didn't belong there. I wasn't
Mm.
supposed to be there. That is not my calling. Kept on going, transferred to another school, went on with my dream of being an electrical engineer, but I was failing. By my third, fourth year, I was failing miserably. And then I decided that I didn't want to have that mask anymore. It was too much of a weight. I had been carrying that since I was 6. It was too much of a weight. I didn't want to be average anymore. I didn't understand what purpose meant at that point in time, but I just knew that this is not what God called me to do. And with the GPA I had, I didn't think I'll get a JOB anyways. So
I remember. Anyway,
you
go
remember,
ahead.
I know you were one of the few people who knew I was going through that because it was difficult. It was an identity crisis for me. And so I dropped out of engineering, finished up with English, but that time of my life, it was devastating. I remember going to your graduation aging and I was just looking at you. I said, we should have been walking this stage that same year.
Yeah,
Went for
that's true.
went for
Yeah,
everybody's party. Inside, I was celebrating and I was very happy for you celebrating, but inside, I was dying. I was like,
yeah.
my goodness. And then something, why I said what you said really hit home when you said children get comfortable being seen. I
Being
remember
unseen,
during
not
that,
being seen.
not being seen, yes. I remember during that period when I finally graduated a year later, my mom came from Nigeria and really spent some time with me going to counseling and everything. So I remember trying to figure out what was my next move. And I remember my mom telling me this, Chinya, which is my Igbo name, which means God's gift. She said, Chinya, you are somebody. You will be somebody. I
Mm.
see you as the person who will be the professor in the family. You have a PhD. So she was saying all these things. And I was just like, Mom, I don't even know. I'm trying to get into a master's program. I'm trying to even figure out, I can't even see that. But she kept on repeating that. And eventually I was able to figure out where I wanted to go, conflict resolution. But why I bring up that point of why my mom, when she said that and how that hit home was because we had had so many discussions about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, and she was able to draw that and
Draw that.
started believing for me. I didn't believe
Do it.
that I could achieve those things, but I believed for myself. The
Yeah.
same thing my late father did too, as well. During that period, encouraging me, talking to me, saying, you know what? Engineering didn't work out. They didn't chastise me. They listened and said, okay, this is not working out. Where else can you go? And I can remember the day when I finally got my PhD. I remember crying with my dad crying. My dad passed last year. And prior to that, he had had, strokes. And he had told God, he said he had told God during that time, please don't let me go before this girl gets her PhD. I
Mm.
want to see her walk the stage. I cried. My mom got her PhD, made so many sacrifices for us before she finally got her PhD. She didn't walk the stage because she came over, to help us,
I saw
assist
that picture. I saw
us,
that picture
and she wore her own PhD gown that
on your
day,
day.
on
Yes.
our day.
Yes.
So when you talk about how I got into this space was as a result of what I went through as a child. And like you said, if I had those tools at my hands at that point in time, telling that, it's okay if this didn't work out. How do I bounce back from failing? How do I move on? How do I not tie myself to that identity that I had tied myself to for so long? And that's why I got into what I'm doing.
Mm.
And then I was an educator. I saw the gaps in education while I was teaching, mindset transformation, kids also grappling with these issues, and then looking for a different way to parent my children. Because again, going back to what I said, children need to be seen, they need to be heard,
Yes.
and they need to be
Exactly.
validated.
Mm. Wow. Whew. I don't even know what note. So I know most of your story, right? But I like you saying it. Oh, I love that cup. What does that say? SOS?
BOC.
Because
Just like that.
that's an inside thing. That's her dad's initial. Her dad was and still is a role model and an icon as actually. I just even Google reminded me of our picture together and when you were at your mom's party. I was like, wow, I'm gonna frame that soon. Thank you for elaborating and telling a story. And I always like when somebody's speaking, you can connect your life, what is happening. You didn't just wake up and say, let me just do this. First, you found a gap. But before the gap, you thought about yourself, how there was really no, aside your parents, there wasn't that third place you could go to, or you didn't even know what was wrong with you per se,
Yeah,
right? And there was no
exactly.
place to go to figure out what was wrong and then give you the tools and all that. But now you're providing that for young people.
Yes.
And for me as well, I remember having low self-esteem. When we're younger, who cares? How they will beat low self-esteem out of you. And, and that's how our parents knew how to handle. I mean, from how I grew up, how they knew how to handle, because you didn't. It's almost like as a Nigerian kid or an African kid, you don't have a chance to feel those things. You always have to show up as a superpower, as a, you know, but that it's okay for a child to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And there's something you said. I didn't write that down, but there's something you said about how, yes, playing into the individual strengths. When we're younger, they raised us all equal. If there are 7 kids, one way, not understanding that A is a different way. You don't just have one rule. You just don't have one way of raising, right?
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
can feel your being lost as a child,
Yeah.
and that grew into adulthood. I mean, can you imagine if there was a conflict resolution, or there was an Anne for you then there will be that Anne in college. But something just came to me. And the 6-year-old Anne had to go through what she went through. You didn't have a purpose, so you can have one. So you can be the Anne in our generation now for those kids, and
I'm
and
tearing
and
up.
and, and create many Annes. This double water. So 6-year-old Anne had to go. This I just have to say this. When I have goosebumps, that means I have to say it. 6-year-old Anne had to go through that confusion, that
Create.
loss, that losing of self. I mean, what do we know at 10 or 11? You had to be in the US and go through what you went through. You had to take electrical engineering because it wasn't you it's in my head. You had to take electrical engineering as that expectation of you that wasn't you, to
Mhm,
create you. Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yes.
So the you now, you have to find the truth in that confusion. So that I know I was in your apartment, or you were in my apartment when you were writing letter. You were writing. I was like, what's wrong with this
You're
one?
making me cry. Oh my God.
It's okay. When you were writing, like I want to write, and then your parents are like, so you had to take electrical engineering to please your parents, to be confused. And in that mode, I have goosebumps again. In that place where you didn't know what to do, is where you found your true purpose. There's nothing that's happening to us that God doesn't know about, or that He didn't orchestrate.
Mhm. Yes.
So now you are going to be the superwoman, the Batman, the whole Iron Man for that little child. You are going to be for that little child, because you have to grow a child at a time. I'm saying this because I have goosebumps. I have to say it. Welcome, Kenny. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, Dr. AnnMaureen, I'm saying this because, like I said, when I have goosebumps, I have to say it. So, Dr. AnnMaureen, for what you said, because it's important. So, Dr. AnnMaureen today. Okay, let me go all the way back. You had no mindset. You were just living your life. Confusion. You just chose electrical engineering. And then something was created in you. You got pregnant with what you're doing right now. And you still haven't given birth. You still haven't given birth to what it is that God really wants you to do. Because now Dr. AnnMaureen is going to be peace centered. What peace center stands for is going to save that little girl in your path or out of your path. That little girl who will not be confused, who will know her purpose young, who will know how to write her vision board. You had to go through that. You're still pregnant. So now let me go to our topic. Everything is in, we said it last time that everything is in our topic. So peace centered Dr. AnnMaureen. Let me say this. You are going to be known for remarkable things. If I had you, I won't have low self-esteem for a long time. If you had you, you would have. Now, see you being in that gap of those kids who don't have a voice, who are not seen. You can see them.
Yes.
That's your purpose. Oprah cannot interview you enough. Les Brown cannot interview you enough. New shows. My show is just one of them. Because I was once that little girl. And that's the name of my book that's coming out whenever. That little girl. Because that little girl, like you said, wasn't seen. I know I'm going off and I have goosebumps. It just has to come out. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Thank you. AnnMaureen, Dr. AnnMaureen is going to see them. That's it. You're going to see them. Now, walk me through that mindset transformation, because you said something and you insisted on it. You said you help children with positive, not just say esteem, because I have an esteem, okay? Meaning what? But positive esteem through, tell me, how do you do these things? How do you, because you're transforming the mindset of these kids who are going to be adults like us. And Dr. Ann, what you're doing, I didn't plan to say this, but I'm saying it because, again, my goosebumps are telling me something. You are going to end up helping so many adults avoid what we went through. And that's your purpose. And more. That's just the start. You will see Essence Magazine will have from a small page to one big page of peace centered and who you can offer your services to. Money is not it. Mission. Then the income is the byproduct. So don't, this is a whole different session. Parents won't get it. So you probably have to partner with people who can talk to the parents, because parents need parenting right now. Some parents don't have that mindset just yet, that their kids are not furniture, and their kids are not seen. They will probably argue first until you bring that out of them. So we have a lot of work to do. That's why we're here. I want to have a panel very soon of parents just talking about how I can learn more from you, you can learn from me. But walk me through how you do these things that you do. Like you say, you help children with positive. We've talked about having low self-esteem and how, just tell us how you're able to, and I know that has to do with the mindset, but let's focus on the mindset. How do you do it? Not to tell us all your secrets, but how do you, let's say a typical child who has low self-esteem and is not seen. How do you work on this child? Like, how do you, the child is in front of you. How do you work on that child?
So for every child, I just stand and observe. You know, I'm a mom of 4. And all, and all different needs and all different, or whatnot, challenge or whatever they have. So I'm always observing. I've always been that. I've always been introspective. I think that's one of my biggest strengths. I can stand, observe, and be able to read a person or read a child. And so the first thing, like I said, that's why I always say those three words. And if I just meet a child anywhere and just strike a conversation, it could be the child is very hyperactive, the mom is going crazy, as being, the child is just not focusing, and just getting down on their level. I normally crouch down. If you see me in schools where I work with the kids, I'm always down at their level. I'm not standing up. I'm standing at their level. So that's the first thing with children, especially little children, coming down to their level. So it doesn't feel like I'm talking from this, position of authority. So it starts with physically your posture, because kids already feel intimidated with an adult. So you need to calm down. So that's the first thing. It's not even before even entertaining them or even striking the conversation, is your body posture. Are you open? Are you smiling? Are you staring into their eyes? Not like a stalker or, that kind of
creepy. Okay.
But coming down to the level, and I'll crouch down to their level and just say, hey. And 9 times out of 10, the response is like, oh, she's down here. Okay, so she's not so intimidating. Oh, you're jumping around. Very exciting. Can I join you in jumping? I don't know if that's a good idea. My mom said us to stop. I said, but you're having fun. You're jumping, so I want to jump. And then that brings them down, and then we start striking a conversation. So first things first, in engaging any child, and a child that knows that, and I can tell a child that has been told that they are a problem or they're a discipline issue or a problem because they're already on the defensive. And that's why I come down to that level, because those who already have discipline issues, 9 times out of 10, self-esteem is an issue. Self-confidence is an issue because they're acting out in different ways because nobody believes in them. And so I get down to their level and I start talking to them, and that puts them at ease, and that builds trust with me and the kids. And that's how I break the ice with those kids. And with every kid that I meet, whether they have behavior issues or no behavior issues, that's what I do. And that's how I build trust, because I've brought myself down to their level. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm still the adult. I still maintain, that I'm the adult in my speech, but then we're talking face to face. So that's in person. If I'm doing it virtually, beforehand, I ask a lot of questions from the parents, their interests, what they like, what they don't like, what they do like. And so I bring in activities centering around that person's interest, because you're taking an interest in the person. I'm showing that I'm trying, I want to know, and I find a common ground between them, things that I do, things that my kids, I might not like it, but one of my children does this. And so that builds rapport. So one thing for children is to build that trust. Everything else after that, if they don't trust you, they're not going to work for you. They're not going to do anything for you. They're not going to even pay attention. So that's what I do. First things off the bat is to establish a relationship with each child that I work with. And it's the same thing that I do with my children. Even you that you have as parents, you still have to build rapport and establish trust with your children. So it's the same thing. And then I use a program, Adventures in Wisdom program. And one thing I like about the program is that we use stories. And stories are not threatening to children because they are listening to someone else. They can identify with the character. So we can talk in the third person at first. And then I segue into talking about what it is that is going on with the children. And then for children are multisensorial. So hands-on activities while we're talking, doing the mindset transformation skills, because mementos for children, things for children serve as a reminder, trigger. So we talk about vision boards. Even for us as adults, what you see, you become, you behold, you continue doing it. And so when those kids have mementos of the mindset transformation skills that we have, it creates that consistency for them to carry on and carry through what it is that we have done in our session. So those are some of the things that I do with my children. So mindfulness activities, centering, calming activities, building emotional intelligence too, as well, is some of the things that I do during my sessions.
Wow. See, all my guests that are coming here, I think I have to go back and rewatch the show to be able to take all the notes because he who fights in class can't take all. Okay, thank you so much for the pointers. And that's so pivotal. You said something in mindfulness, everything you're saying as you're talking. I'm and I appreciate that you're saying that because you submitted something. You know, like Kene said, you're a star. You know the stuff. But I'm over here thinking that we are talking about we for the past 30 minutes we kind of focus on kids because that's. Do you know that there are some adults that need that?
Yeah. I needed that. I still do.
I know.
I
But I'm
still do.
saying like, where's that? I mean, there's so many programs out there and all those things, but I see that. I mean, let me go back to what you said first. Let me focus on what
And
you
I've
said.
worked with some parents who wanted, which was great. And I love that because the child even accelerated more, who needed these mindset skills. They didn't know how to do it. And so I coached the parent as well as
Mhm.
the child,
As a child.
which is what you were talking about earlier
Yes.
on.
Yes. A lot of parents, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
You A lot of people came from back home or are here and they just know. Like I was talking to somebody the other day and she said she's just raising her kids the way her parents raised her. I'm like, and how's that going? We were raised back home. You're raising them here with Niger. There's some values we have to keep that are important, but there's
Yes.
some we have to throw away because it doesn't apply here now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole another show. But mindfulness, emotional intelligence. It's incredible you're using these words. And I think there has to be, I wish there was a way you can, first of all, you have to follow Dr. Ann. You have to follow her and get her email, go to her web. I'll add all those things in the description. So to get her newsletters to see how much detail she put in all this. You will learn as an adult. Yes, we've had the kids, but we have to learn. See, it's not too late to learn.
No, never.
It's not too late to learn. Like she said, in college, we're already adults where she had to make the switch. But I think, let me go to the spiritual side and then come back. She was available for God to show. How many of us are available for God to show on time so we can live in our purpose? That's what you're doing. Now, in the mindset transformation, please put me through. Let's, I like defining things and we're going backwards. And like I said, let me, I have so much in my head I have to ask and talk about, and I know we don't have that much time anymore. There has to be a second one. Because when we talk about mindset transformation, there's also it also includes mindfulness and like everything we're saying is still mindset, but I want to bring it down to
No. Mm-hmm.
the importance. Let's really talk about the importance of let's see what Kene says. Kene says, I have a client that has a major challenge with her teenage daughter. Please would love to refer her mother and daughter to Dr. Ann. Please do. I will leave her details so you can refer her. And that's what I was going to advise Dr. Ann as well. I don't know if you have a web. By now, you have a web of other professionals around you. Like I know Dr. Kene. Dr. Kene, you're next on this show. Let's talk about. She's a health doctor. She lost like what 1,000 pounds in like 2 days. She is like the health doctor. I've done her program. Her program works. It works. I fell short because I saw my true self through her program, and I fell short at that time. So I'm coming back to her show, and she will be on you. See, these women I'm around. They say you're an average of the women you hang around. These women are passionate about what they do. These women are doers. They say it and they are what they say. They are talk and do's. They say it and they do it because we are older now. We're not joking around anymore. We are living. We have to be living in our purpose right now. So, Kene, yes, refer them to Dr. Ann
Thank you.
to take care of them. And Kene, I'm coming back. I won't say when, so you're not gonna ask me when I'm coming. I'm coming. you know, and I was gonna advise you have a web of how do they say it? When you have um
Like a mastermind of other professionals.
mastermind of other professionals. That way you can refer, you guys can do inter-referral or whatever, because sometimes some things might be more than what
Yes.
you're handling, and you can
Mm-hmm.
always have somebody can, and then if
Yes.
it's a way problem is or whatever, you know that Kene is there. If it's whatever else, and I think it's something you should consider. It's not commission based, but just that
Oh yeah.
everybody's, it's, you should have that. But let's go back to, I know we don't have as much time. We've gone like 10 minutes past, but let's go back to the mindset, the importance of mindset transformation. I'm talking about for an adult. Blue is here, my kids are here, my little brother is here, Kene is here, I'm here, obviously. But the importance of mindset transformation. A lot of people don't even know that, they don't even think of mindset as anything. But I feel like that's the engine in all of us. That's the mindset. Listen, if you go to listen to Les Brown and Bob Proctor and all of them, these are guys from the 60s that have been talking about it. She said something right now, and that's literally the mindset that we must have. What you see, you become, you behold. It's back there in your head. It's to bring it to the front and let it control you, and you see how successful you will be. And please tell us the importance of mindset transformation in our day-to-day lives. Of course, focus on the kids, but yet an adult listens to it. It's like how will I say it? It's universal.
It's universal message.
Universal message. Thank
I
you.
just started with the little ones because
Yes.
I mean, as a young age, you are a sponge. Your brain, absorbs a lot more, and you have a lot more time to practice.
Yes.
And perfect. Well, not even perfect is a lifelong journey, but you have the time to do better and better and be able to handle things better starting at a young age. So it's a universal thing. So mindset transformation, using my experience, wanting, when do you start knowing, or when do you start thinking, okay, what is going on with me? What is all this thing about mindset? Why is everyone always talking about mindset? Because I always say, wherever you go, whatever direction you take, wherever your mind goes, pretty much that's the direction your day goes. That's the direction your life goes. Your mind drives everything. It's at the epicenter of life. I will share this. I wrote this down probably about a year or two ago. I've never shared it. So it's an acronym that I use. BED. Bed. Okay. Bed is a place of rest. Okay, you go to sleep, you're at peace there, so to speak, and you should be at peace, in peace. You are in bed. And so when I broke that down for myself, and this was when I was going through a lot of things, like I said, going through that change, I broke it down this way. Bed means be engaged daily. And that's what your mindset is. Be is an action word, is a verb. Be simply means to exist, to live. You're in action, you're doing something. Engaged, you're busy, you're occupied, you're involved. Daily, you're doing it every day, 7 days a week. And so mindset transformation, when I started thinking about changing my life, I came to a point in my life about 4 or 5 years ago when I was sick. I had just come out from being sick. I was teaching in academia at that point in time. I wasn't ready to go back. My mind was still foggy. My body was not ready, but I had to go back. I was scared I would lose my job. And I said, is this life? Is this living? Is this being? I study conflict resolution, and I understand the importance of mind, the importance of when you have a crisis in your mind. And so Napoleon Hill always says to have a burning desire. So that burning desire that I want to change. I need to change the way I see myself. I need to change the way I see the way I do things. And that's why being in bed, I was in bed a lot of times. And that's why that thing came about. Be engaged daily. So I had to take an honest look at all areas of my life, my spiritual life, my health, my relationships, my finances. I had to be honest with myself. Am I showing up daily in my spiritual life? What do I need to add? What do I need to increase? What do I need to do? Am I showing up in my finances? Am I investing in what will take me further to my purpose? In my relationships, am I adding? Am I letting people go? Am I letting the right people in? My health, what am I eating? What am I putting into my body? Am I exercising? And so mindset transformation is everything, body, soul,
Mm.
and spirit, everything. So the
Mm.
mind, you're thinking just in the mind, but the mind controls everything. Be, that
Everything.
word be, the word I am comes from be. When we always
Mm.
say those
Yes.
affirmations, I am confident. I see
Yes.
myself doing something.
Something.
Be. What are you doing on a consistent basis? Are you showing up for yourself? That's what mindset transformation is.
Mm.
Showing up when it's difficult, showing up in the aha moments, showing up. Yes, things have happened to you, people have done things to you, but you show up.
Show up.
Or you show up on the days when nobody has done anything to you,
Thank you.
but
Mm.
you don't feel like doing anything,
Mm.
but
Mm.
you show up and do it.
Ooh.
And so
Mind.
mindset transformation is just, there's this quote I love. It's an African proverb that says, on it talks about, what does it say? The lion. Okay, yes. It talks about rewriting your story.
Mm.
So the lion will not have its proper say if it continues to let the hunter write the story, if his
Story.
story continues to glorify the hunter. So, meaning, if you don't take the bulls by the horn, if you don't say, you know what, I'm going to show up for me every day, someone else is going to dictate how you show up. Someone else is going to tell you this is the way
Mm.
you feel.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so that is what mindset transformation is, showing up for yourself in all aspects of your life, being honest. And I had to be
Yes.
honest with myself. What
Mm.
was not working? This is not working in all areas of my
Yes.
life. Where was the indiscipline?
Ooh.
Is what mindset transformation is. You're
Yes.
transforming, right? You're growing, you're
You're
pruning.
changing.
Yes.
Mm. 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 See, every guest that comes, I don't want the show to end because there's so much to talk about. 30 minutes is not enough, so it's always like 51 hour. Thank you for revealing that acronym on my show. Yay! I love it. It's simple and to the point. Be engaged daily. So mindset transformation. You've just broken it down. It's to start the transformation. First of all, you have to ask yourself the questions. That's what Dr. Ann is telling us. And unfortunately, things have to happen to get you to that point where you have to ask those questions. And the questions Anne was talking about, the most important question that I got out of what she said is, and I'll speak directly to the camera to anybody who's listening. And sorry, my nose is stuffed up and I'm all whatever. In whoever you are today and in whatever you're doing, you ask yourself this one question: is this life? When you ask that question, then you go to, I want a change. If is this life, what's the response to it? Maybe you're a big person, you're living life, you is this life? Like I always say, the 5 F's. How are you in your faith? And that's what she just covered right now. Spiritually, what are you doing? And I always said, use this term in corporate America that says stop, start, continue. When you ask yourself, that's for you to be able to transform your mindset. And what does she say? Your mind controls everything. Where your mind goes, your life goes. Your mind goes first and then you go. If you wake up and think, it's gonna be a horrible day, guess what? It just everything is gonna be horrible that day. But if you wake up and think, I'm gonna be engaged today and every day, I'm gonna be bedding. This my bed is gonna be bedding. I'm gonna be engaged, and that's what you continue to manifest. That's what you continue to tell. That's what you continue to affirm. Anne is big on Dr. Anne is big on affirming. I'm big on affirming because we have common mentors. Les Brown, Terrell Stivell Foy. I love that woman. I missed her conference last weekend.
Should have been there.
I should have been there. My cupcake. That woman is all about mindset. Once you work on that, everything, not that life will go smoothly, but again, it's the mind. Dr. Ann needs her show. She does. I need her to come back because this is not enough. I know she has to go. But when you're in crisis is when you ask yourself that question. And then you have to, she said Napoleon Hill says something. Go and read that book. What's the name
Think
of that
and
book?
grow rich.
Think and Grow Rich is right here. So Think and Grow Rich. You have to have that burning desire to want to change. And thank God for nowadays you have internet and everything, but ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's focusing on kids, but go on Instagram, follow her on Instagram. You see the things that she posts. Put your email there, you see. Do one of her courses. There's so much to say. I can go everywhere. She says she had to look at all areas. And most importantly, you have to decide to show up daily for you first before anybody else. Whether you're a mom or dad, whatever. Wake up, show up daily for you, whether you're in the mood or not.
Mm-hmm.
Once you show up, that already creates discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Your mind is, you start to prune, and pruning just simply means you're cleaning out the rubbish and bringing in the good. You have to think of what you have to start doing, what you've been doing that you need to stop, and what's been going great that you have to continue. Start, stop, continue. We have to get to that point where we have to. And your mind begins to transform. You see how a butterfly transforms from a caterpillar?
Mm-hmm.
That's typical transformation. It doesn't stay a caterpillar. It doesn't even remember it was a caterpillar. It just remembers that it just blossoms into this beautiful butterfly. And that's all what we want to do. And that's what the Get Sense with a Jenny we're trying to do. That's why we have this guest. That's why I'm here. Because I was there before. I'm still pruning. I'm still changing. Anne is still changing. Dr. Anne is, I keep calling her Anne. Dr. Anne is still changing. And that's why she's doing what she's doing. If she can help that one child, if she can help that community to help the kids with their mindset, then they become adults whose minds are set. Ooh, that keeps coming out.
I love that.
By the time she
That's
transforms,
what it is. Whose
yes,
minds are
yes,
set.
goosebumps. By the time she transforms their mindset as kids, they become more confident. They become more positive. They become, even whether the parents see them or not, they feel seen. It matters when you feel seen. You can't force people to see you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be so you can be seen. You have to be so you can be seen. And if they don't see you, that means you're too bright for them to see you. Woo!
Oh man.
If she has worked on you and your mindset as a child, as a parent, or whoever, and they still don't see you, whoever you want to see you don't see you, then that means you're too bright and you're too set in your mind for them to see you. And the most important thing is for you to believe in you and know you and see you. Right or wrong, Dr. Anne? Let me have you close the show.
Exactly right. And I was just going to, my goodness, I need to come back and watch the show and take some of the notes that you shared. The Get Sense, let me tell you a little disclosure. When we are like this on the phone, we go on hours, and you have the gift of just dissecting, breaking things down to the bed. No, it's a wonderful gift. Finding that insight and breaking that. That's how we're just going back and forth. Okay, I'll talk to you later, but we get into something else. I'll just keep on.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, just wanted to say some of the, just to give practical resources or things that I did throughout the years.
Yes.
Even before I started reading personal development books, well, what I started from was just praying. Silence. Spend time in silence. Take some time out away from everyone else. People negate the importance of silence because it's in silence. For me, I was given direction on where to go, and how to act, on what to do. Silence. So that was monumental for me. Silence, prayer, affirmation, self-talk. And then me with my acronyms: W, why, what, who, what, where, all of that. Why is very, very essential. Why are you going through this mindset transformation? Why do you want to be honest with yourself? Making more money, transforming life. Be honest with yourself, because again, that keeps you showing up every day.
I'm sorry. Blue's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
And so, yeah, those are some of the things I did. Then getting a mentor, that helped because there were those times when I didn't believe in myself. They believed for me. My parents were the first. And I told you that my siblings have done that, my sisters. When they believed, their belief, I walked up to their belief.
Definitely. Mm.
So get somebody surround. That's why I say that who is sounds like a broken record. That who is essential to everything for me. Protecting your mental space, getting in mentors, people who will support you. Get a mastermind, get a group of people who you know supports you. It helps. And so I did that self-talk recordings, listening to motivational podcasts. I listen to that all the time, sometimes several times a day, depending on how the day, is going. But reading that, personal development books, taking courses, meeting other people, networking with other people, things to improve my skills. These are things that I wanted, that I knew that would help to transform, to rewrite my story. I wanted that story of failing out of college is part of my story. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not, ashamed of it, anyone. If at all, it has enhanced my life. And I still use knowledge, to be honest, from back then now.
Yes.
But to embrace everything, to rewrite how I saw myself, most importantly, because the change had to happen here. Had to happen in
Here.
my heart, in my head. I had to change that picture. And that affirming and seeing, writing out my goals, having a vision board helped. And if it's okay, I wanted to share something that I wrote down. When
Please.
I felt things started to align, and doing this over and over again. So my routine is become a very important part of what I do. I have my daily fives. So this is what I wrote. When purpose, vision, passion begin to align, you begin to live I am enough in real time, in real life. And for me, I started writing down what I saw in myself. You are focused. You are genuinely happy for other people's success. You have goals, plans, a blueprint, and dreams. You are not in competition with yourself or others. You have an inner compass of core values that are clearly defined. I am unapologetic.
Wow.
I'm stretching out of my comfort zone frequently and consistently. I surround myself with a happy few in my life. I have a daily routine. I practice forgiveness over and over again. I make time for silent meditation. I'm excited at what is to come, and I'll keep learning. And I practice gratitude. So that's it.
Thank you so much for that. I have to go back and actually um um to go through this because this was something that you just read right there. So that's one of your journaling. So one thing you missed, I know you journal a lot. One thing you missed here was journaling. Is that part of your silence or part of the prayer?
Yes, that's part of the prayer. That goes hand in hand with journaling, doing the silent meditation. Yes, thank you. That's a huge part of everything.
I
Journaling
just
my
started journaling again. I started walking, and then I started one thing that I started doing. I know we have to go is prayer walks. Don't just when you think about walking as an exercise, maybe it's like this huge thing. But when you say prayer walk, because sometimes when you're praying, you get interrupted. And
yes.
when you're walking and you're praying, I feel like there's affirmation in there. There's a force in you just praying and talking to God on your own, one on one. I don't care if somebody's listening, but yeah. So silence, journaling.
Yes.
This is
Another
our
one
takeaway
is for
from Dr.
another day. It's not time to practice, but my spiritual director, there's something he has. When I do it, I see the magic. It's called, he says, assume goodwill of others. That's something I know there's no time to get into that. I'm sorry, I forgot. I just looked at my notes. And there's a long list. I should have been reading from, I should have just read from my list.
Okay,
Assume
real quick, I should have typed that in there. So, assume goodwill. Give us like a little. I know it's another show. Oh my gosh, it's never enough. Like last Saturday too. What's her name was here. Gosh, I forgot her. Oh my god, Juliet. Juliet was like, hey, Jenny, I need to come back. I need to finish because she had more to say, and I really, really appreciate you being here. Please explain just a little bit with less than 30 seconds. Assume goodwill.
so cool. Okay, how do I unpack this? Assume goodwill of others. Because I told him, I said, how can you do that? If you have interacted with people or you sense somebody is acting one way or the other. I say, isn't that being naive? He said,
Mm-hmm.
no. Because just like God extends grace to you every day,
Mm-hmm.
whether you've made good choices or not choice or good or bad choices, the same way that you extend to others. So when you meet somebody or somebody you feel that they might have disappointed you or they didn't live up to their bargain, rather than saying, well, this is how the person is, this person,
Yes.
bad or anything, in your mind, start thinking of scenarios that might have happened that caused
Mm.
that person to act that way.
Act.
And then ask God to reveal the true intentions of that person. That the true intentions of that person will always come out. Because I said, well, somebody might have been they have this reoccurring behavior. How can I do that? And he said that's part of what forgiveness is. And
Mm.
assuming goodwill, because he put it this way: as a mom, maybe you promised to call somebody and then you forgot, and that person is pissed off. But you wish that you had the opportunity to explain that, what, this is what happened,
Yeah.
or I didn't do it intentionally. He said that's assuming goodwill. Well, if somebody forgot to call you or texted you, you now say, oh, she's probably busy, something happened. And how many times have you, when you thought good intentions about that person, when you called the person, it was one of those scenarios? How did you feel?
Instead of getting upset, I can't believe she didn't call me. I'm not calling her
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Mm.
How
That's
how
good.
how did you feel when that happened? And
Mm-mm.
then if in the event that they were acting tacky, guess what? That's not on you.
Yeah,
That's
that's
on
on
them.
them.
You're not carrying
Well,
that.
we're gonna go tacky together. That's just, all right, we're gonna go all tacky together. I'm just kidding. All right, and Dr. Ann, thank you so much for today. We can talk some more. You know our talk. I know you have to go. I have to go as well. Our talk nearly ends today. But thank you so much. Finally made on the show. You're welcome. You're revisiting. You're gonna come back more and more because you touched something that I want to be a show by itself. That's forgiveness.
Yes,
That's
yes.
that's something a lot of people are dealing with that they can't like. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But thank you so much for being here. God bless you. They said you pray for your loved ones in Job something. And I'm praying for you now that the works of your hands are blessed.
Amen.
Your kids are blessed, your husband, your family is blessed. You already know that. That
Amen.
everything you touch turns to gold. And every child whose life you will change would remember you for great things.
Amen.
Remarkable things are coming your way, like I said in the beginning. The change, the change you, the crisis you went through, or the whatever you went through in college for your mindset transformation brought you here. And I said you're still pregnant. You haven't even you're just scratching the surface of what God is doing in your life. And you're doing, I remember when you were going through that change. There were Mary, because you Catholic, Mary was in your living room, as in like you, I remember. That's when you've gotten there, like, come here in my house, and you did it, and you're doing it. I know, we know the inside gist. So thank you. God bless you. Audience, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Blue, Fa, Adeze, thank you. You guys support her channel too. Be Mrs. S. She's amazing makeup. She's hilarious. Follow the K Star Show. Kene, Dr. Kene is amazing. If you want weight loss the healthier way, go to
Yeah.
Kene. Who else? Opone, my boy, is there. Anybody else in the weeds who we didn't see? Far, thanks for coming on while in class. God bless you. You could have been anywhere else, but you were here to support. God bless you so much. Thank you, Anne. I know you have Dr. Anne. I know you have to go. We have to come back for part two. We just have to come back. But definitely go in the comments, not just here, but go to my channel, go to the live, go to the show itself and go to comments and then type up anything you remember that you couldn't type out. Okay. Thank you so much. God bless you. You guys have a good one. And we'll be in the studio for a second. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.